Welcome back. Imagine hearing whispers about a machine so absurd, so impossible, that most people thought it was nothing more than a digital fantasy. A vehicle that looked like it escaped from a military lab hidden deep beneath a mountain. A machine with not 4 wheels, not 6, but 12. And now the rumors have become something much more dangerous. Because the 2026 Toyota THUNDERBONE 12x12 may actually exist, and only a few were ever built. The first time people saw blurry images online, they thought it had to be fake. The proportions made no sense. The shape looked too aggressive, too extreme, too unreal. But then more sightings started appearing. Grainy footage, shadowy clips, massive tire tracks in remote desert locations. And suddenly people started asking one question. What exactly is this thing? Because the THUNDERBONE doesn't look like a normal vehicle. It looks like an invasion. From the front, it feels almost alive. The nose sits high and wide like a mechanical beast preparing to attack. Massive LED light bars slash through darkness like glowing eyes. The front grille isn't designed to be elegant. It's designed to dominate. Every line is sharp. Every angle is brutal. Then your eyes move to the side profile. And that's when reality begins to disappear. 12 wheels. 12 gigantic wheels standing underneath a body that stretches like a futuristic armored train. It looks too long to be a truck. Too aggressive to be an SUV. Too monstrous to be anything we've seen before. The wheel arches are enormous. Carbon fiber panels wrap around the body like armor plating. The suspension sits high enough to laugh at roads entirely. Because roads are not where this machine belongs. Mountains. Deserts. Mud. Ice. Places where normal vehicles surrender. That's where the THUNDERBONE wakes up. And underneath this insane exterior lies something even crazier. Rumors suggest Toyota engineers wanted to create something beyond conventional performance. Something beyond normal categories. Not a truck. Not an SUV. Not even a military machine. Something completely different. A monster powered by a twin-turbo hybrid V8 system pushing unimaginable power figures. Some estimates suggest over 1,000 horsepower. Others say even more. Nobody knows the exact number. And honestly, that mystery somehow makes it even scarier. Because imagine hearing 12 tires digging into dirt while thousands of pounds of machinery suddenly launch forward. Imagine standing next to it as the engine starts. Not hearing it. Feeling it. The ground shakes beneath your feet. The air vibrates. Your chest tightens. And then the exhaust releases a deep mechanical growl that sounds less like a car and more like some giant creature waking up after centuries of sleep. But here's where things become unbelievable. Despite its size, despite looking like it weighs as much as a small building, reports suggest the THUNDERBONE moves with shocking speed. Press the throttle. And physics starts asking questions. Power explodes through all 12 wheels almost instantly. There is no hesitation.
No struggle.
Just endless traction grabbing the earth beneath it. 0 to 60? Nobody truly knows. But people who claim to have witnessed test runs describe something terrifying. They say the THUNDERBONE doesn't accelerate like normal vehicles. It attacks. Because as speed builds, those massive wheels become a blur. Dust storms rise behind it. Rocks launch into the air. The landscape itself seems to move away in fear. And somehow the impossible becomes real. A giant machine moving like a predator. But speed isn't even its most impressive trick. Step inside. And suddenly the brutal monster outside transforms into something completely different. Luxury.
Pure luxury.
Open the doors and you enter what feels less like a vehicle and more like a private futuristic lounge. Premium leather wraps nearly every surface. Soft ambient lighting flows across the cabin like liquid energy. Massive digital displays stretch across the dashboard with crystal clear graphics. The seats don't simply sit there. They embrace you. Heating. Cooling. Massage functions. Custom memory settings. Everything designed for maximum comfort, even while driving through terrain that would destroy ordinary vehicles. And because this machine sits far above the ground, visibility becomes almost unreal. You're not looking at traffic. You're looking over it. Everything below feels smaller. Everything around feels controlled. But Toyota wasn't finished. Because technology inside the THUNDERBONE enters another dimension entirely. Artificial intelligence-assisted driving systems constantly analyze terrain ahead. Cameras cover nearly every angle imaginable. Advanced suspension sensors react in real time, adjusting instantly before the vehicle even reaches obstacles. Night vision systems scan darkness. Augmented reality displays project information directly in front of the driver. Satellite communication systems reportedly allow connectivity in places where phones become useless. It's almost like the Thunderbone doesn't want limits. And maybe that's the entire point. Because vehicles today often feel predictable. You know what to expect. You know what they can do. But this thing creates questions. Questions people cannot stop asking. Why was it built? Who built it? Who can even own one? And perhaps the biggest question of all, how many actually exist? Because whispers suggest only a handful were ever created. Not hundreds. Not dozens. Just a few. Ultra-exclusive machines hidden away from public roads. Machines so rare that seeing one might feel like spotting a ghost. And maybe that's why the Thunderbone has captured so much attention. Because people don't just love speed. People don't just love luxury. People love mystery. They love legends. They love impossible things becoming real. The Thunderbone feels like something from a future we weren't supposed to see yet. A machine that somehow escaped tomorrow and landed in our world today. And whether it's a secret engineering experiment, a collector's dream, or one of Toyota's wildest creations ever imagined, one thing is impossible to deny. The moment the Toyota THUNDERBONE 12x12 appears on the horizon, every head turns. Conversations stop. Phones come out. And reality suddenly feels a little smaller. Because legends don't arrive quietly. They shake the earth beneath your feet. Welcome back. Imagine driving through a silent wasteland after the world has gone dark. Cities abandoned. Roads destroyed. Mountains of debris covering the horizon. Then suddenly, something massive appears in the distance. Not a tank. Not a military convoy. Something stranger. Something almost unreal. 12 wheels. A body that looks carved from steel and nightmares. A machine so extreme that people stop and stare because their minds struggle to process what they're seeing. This is the Toyota THUNDERBONE 12x12. And almost nobody has ever seen it. The first time you lay eyes on this machine, your brain immediately starts asking questions. Is this even legal? Is it a truck? Is it a monster? Or is it something built for a future nobody wants to imagine? Because this thing doesn't look like it belongs on today's roads. It looks like it escaped from tomorrow. The Thunderbone doesn't enter a scene. It dominates it. The body itself looks brutal. Aggressive. Wide enough to make ordinary pickup trucks appear like children's toys. Every angle feels sharp and purposeful. Massive wheel arches stretch over 6 enormous axles. 12 giant wheels sit beneath the body like mechanical muscles ready to crush everything underneath. The front end feels almost alive. Ultra-thin LED light bars stare forward like the eyes of a predator hunting in darkness. The grille is enormous, surrounded by reinforced armor-like panels that seem capable of surviving almost anything. Then your eyes travel across the sides. The length alone is shocking. This machine isn't simply large. It's intimidating. Its silhouette looks like something military engineers would create after being told to build the ultimate survival machine. Heavy-duty side steps run beneath the doors while giant reinforced panels protect the lower body from rocks, debris, and terrain that would destroy normal vehicles instantly. And then there are the wheels. 12 of them. Not 4. Not 6. 12. Seeing them in motion almost feels wrong because your eyes aren't used to processing something like this. As they rotate together, the Thunderbone begins to resemble a giant metallic beast crawling across the earth. People would pull out phones instantly. Children would point. Drivers would slow down. Because no matter where this thing goes, attention follows. But appearance is only the beginning. Because if the exterior feels insane, wait until you hear what might live beneath that monster body. Rumors suggest something unbelievable. Imagine a monstrous twin-turbo hybrid V8 power plant engineered for brutal torque and endless strength. Imagine horsepower figures reaching numbers that sound almost fictional. Over 900 horsepower. Mountains of torque delivered instantly. But here's where things become even crazier. Power alone isn't enough for a machine like this. Because moving 12 wheels requires something extraordinary. Every wheel works together through an advanced intelligent drive system capable of distributing power exactly where it's needed. Mud, sand, snow, rock, broken terrain. Nothing matters. This machine simply keeps moving. And when all that power awakens, the sound alone would send chills through your spine. Deep, aggressive, mechanical thunder shaking the air itself. You press the accelerator, and suddenly something impossible happens. This giant begins to move with shocking speed. Your body gets pushed backward. The horizon starts rushing toward you. You expect something this massive to feel slow, heavy, unresponsive. But instead, it attacks the road. Because advanced suspension systems constantly adapt beneath you. Thousands of calculations happening every second. Each wheel reacting independently. Every bump absorbed before you even feel it. It's almost like driving a giant machine that somehow learned grace. And then you step inside. Everything changes. Because outside, the Thunderbone feels like a mechanical monster. Inside, it feels like a luxury spaceship. The doors open slowly. Massive. Heavy. And when you climb inside, silence surrounds you. Soft premium leather stretches across the seats. Carbon fiber surfaces blend with brushed metal details. Ambient lighting flows throughout the cabin like energy moving through a futuristic command center. The seats themselves don't simply hold you. They embrace you. Heating. Cooling. Full massage functions. Because even when surviving the apocalypse, apparently comfort still matters. Then your eyes land on the dashboard. Screens. Everywhere. Massive digital displays wrap around the cockpit like something taken from science fiction movies. Vehicle diagnostics.
Terrain mapping.
360-degree camera systems. Live environmental scanning.
Satellitennavigation.
Artificial intelligence assistance. Everything is there. Everything. The Thunderbone doesn't merely show information. It predicts what comes next. Imagine driving through darkness while thermal cameras identify obstacles hundreds of feet away. Imagine sensors scanning terrain before your wheels even touch it. Imagine intelligent systems adjusting suspension, power delivery, and traction instantly. The vehicle almost thinks for itself. And somehow, the experience becomes even crazier once you're moving. Picture yourself behind the wheel. You leave smooth pavement behind. You head toward rough terrain. Normal drivers would hesitate. Normal vehicles would stop. But not this thing. You approach rocks taller than ordinary cars. The Thunderbone climbs over them effortlessly. Mud fields become meaningless. Deep sand becomes a playground. Steep hills suddenly feel flat. 12 wheels grip the earth with terrifying confidence. You feel unstoppable. Like you're driving something beyond the limits of conventional engineering. And that's exactly why people would become obsessed with it. Because the Thunderbone isn't simply transportation. It's emotion. It's imagination. It's that childhood dream where bigger always meant better. It's the machine you used to sketch in notebooks when reality wasn't allowed to set limits. And maybe that's why it feels so fascinating. Because vehicles today often follow rules. Efficiency. Practicality. Safe designs. Predictable ideas. But the Thunderbone feels different. It feels like someone sat down and said, forget limits. Forget normal. Build something people will never forget. Because in a world full of vehicles that start looking identical, this machine dares to become unforgettable. Maybe that's why so few people have seen it. Maybe that's why it feels almost mythical. Or maybe some machines aren't meant for everyone. Maybe some machines exist purely to remind us that imagination still matters. Because the Toyota THUNDERBONE 12x12 isn't just a vehicle. It's a statement. It's power transformed into metal. It's madness engineered into motion. And if the end of the world ever arrived, this might be the machine you'd want waiting outside. Because legends don't ask for attention. They steal it. Welcome back. Imagine standing in the middle of nowhere. No city lights. No traffic. Just silence. Then suddenly, the ground begins to shake. Not because of an earthquake. Not because of a storm. But because something enormous is coming toward you. Something that looks like it escaped from a military experiment hidden deep in the future. A machine so absurd, so unbelievably rare, that most people will never even see it in real life. This is the Toyota THUNDERBONE 12x12 2026. And trust me, what you're about to see gets crazier every second. At first glance, your brain struggles to process it, because this thing doesn't look real. It doesn't even look like it belongs on Earth. Toyota took the idea of a motorhome and completely destroyed every rule. 12 wheels. Not 6. Not 8. 12. The THUNDERBONE isn't just massive. Massive is too small of a word. This machine looks like a moving fortress. Like a luxury apartment decided one day that it wanted to become a monster truck. The front end immediately grabs your attention. The face is aggressive, sharp, and intimidating. Giant LED light bars cut through darkness like laser beams. The grille feels like it was designed for a post-apocalyptic movie. Every angle is muscular. Every line feels heavy. This thing doesn't ask for road space. It takes it. And then your eyes move across the body. The proportions feel unreal. The stretched frame seems endless. Carbon fiber details blend into armored styling. Massive wheel arches cover the giant tires like protective armor plates. And because of its towering ride height, standing next to it makes you feel tiny. This isn't a vehicle. It's an event. People don't just look at it. They stop. They stare. Phones come out immediately. Because when something this insane rolls by, you almost need proof you actually saw it. But here's where things become even more unbelievable. Because under this giant body sits engineering that sounds like science fiction. Toyota reportedly pushed beyond conventional thinking with a powertrain built to move mountains. Imagine an enormous twin-turbo performance system mixed with advanced hybrid technology, creating monstrous power delivery. The numbers alone feel ridiculous. Massive torque. Massive horsepower. Enough force to move a rolling mansion across deserts, mountains, snowfields, and roads that normal vehicles wouldn't dare approach. And remember, this thing isn't light. This is basically a luxury hotel on 12 wheels. Yet somehow, the THUNDERBONE launches forward with shocking confidence. Press the accelerator. And suddenly physics starts asking questions. You hear the engine wake up with a deep mechanical growl. Turbos breathe in. Power floods through the drivetrain. 12 giant wheels bite into the ground simultaneously. And then, boom, you're moving. Fast. Way faster than something this enormous should ever move. The sensation is surreal. Your eyes tell you you're driving a giant structure, but your body says otherwise. Because despite the size, it feels alive. Toyota's advanced suspension system works constantly underneath you, adjusting thousands of tiny movements every second. Bumps disappear. Rough terrain smooths out. Sand. Mud. Rock. Snow. Nothing seems to matter. The THUNDERBONE simply keeps moving. Like it was born to dominate every surface on Earth. But the outside is only half the story. Because opening the door feels less like entering a vehicle and more like stepping into another world. And suddenly, everything changes. The aggressive monster outside disappears. Luxury takes over. Soft premium materials surround you everywhere. Rich leather stretchers across massive seats designed more like private lounge chairs than car seats. Ambient lighting flows across the cabin with futuristic energy. Large panoramic windows flood the interior with light. But then you notice something insane. This isn't just luxury. It's home. A full living space unfolds before your eyes. There are sleeping areas that feel like high-end hotel rooms. A kitchen that looks cleaner than some apartments. Advanced climate systems keep every corner comfortable. Hidden storage compartments seem to appear everywhere. You begin asking yourself one question. How is all of this even possible? Then comes the technology. Massive digital displays dominate the dashboard. AI-powered systems monitor road conditions and driving behavior. Intelligent cameras surround the entire vehicle with nearly complete visibility. Voice controls respond instantly. Navigation adapts in real time. Safety systems constantly analyze every movement around you. It's like driving with an invisible co-pilot from the future. And perhaps the craziest part? You barely feel the size while driving. Normally something this huge would feel stressful. Heavy steering. Slow reactions. Not here. Toyota engineered systems that make this giant feel unexpectedly controlled. The steering responds smoothly. Cameras eliminate blind spots. Driving assistance features remove much of the pressure. You sit high above everything. Cars below suddenly look tiny. SUVs feel small. Even trucks begin to feel ordinary. You don't simply drive over the road. You command it. And imagine the places this thing could go. Imagine waking up beside frozen mountains with sunlight hitting the windows. Imagine parking beside an empty beach with waves crashing outside. Imagine crossing endless deserts while carrying everything you need inside your moving palace.
No airports.
No hotels.
No schedules.
Just freedom. Pure freedom. Because the Thunderbone isn't really about transportation. It's about escape. It's about adventure without compromise. It's about looking at maps and realizing roads are no longer limits. For years, motorhomes followed the same formula. Big boxes on wheels. Practical. Comfortable. Predictable. Then something like this arrives. And suddenly the entire game changes. Because the Toyota THUNDERBONE 12x12 doesn't care about being normal. It doesn't care about fitting in. It exists to shock people. To make jaws drop. To make people stare and ask, wait, what exactly is that? And maybe that's what makes it so fascinating. Because vehicles like this aren't built just to be seen. They are built to be remembered. Years later people will still talk about the day they saw the giant 12-wheeled Toyota Monster rolling down the road. Because some machines transport people. Some machines create memories. And a few rare machines change the way we imagine the future itself. The Toyota THUNDERBONE 12x12 isn't just one of the rarest motorhomes in the world. It's proof that sometimes the craziest ideas become the most unforgettable legends. Welcome back. Imagine standing in the middle of a silent desert at sunset. The wind is moving across the sand. Nothing around you. No sound. No movement. Then suddenly, the ground begins to shake. Not a little. Violently. Dust starts rising in the distance. And out of that cloud emerges something that looks less like a vehicle and more like a machine built for another world. 12 wheels. Massive proportions. A shape so insane that your brain struggles to process it. This is the Toyota THUNDERBONE 12x12. A vehicle so rare, so mysterious, that almost nobody even knows it exists. And here's the craziest part. Only a handful were ever rumored to be built. This isn't just another luxury truck. This isn't another giant off-road machine pretending to be extreme. This thing exists in a category all by itself. The first thing that hits you is the sheer presence. Pictures don't prepare you. Videos don't prepare you. Nothing prepares you for seeing a 12-wheel monster rolling toward you in real life. It feels impossible. Like somebody took a heavy-duty truck, a military transport vehicle, a luxury motorhome, and a futuristic beast machine and somehow fused them together. The body is enormous. Long, aggressive. Powerful. Every angle screams domination. The front fascia looks like it wants to eat the road alive. Massive grille openings inhale air like lungs preparing for battle. The LED lights cut through darkness like razor blades. Sharp body lines run across the surface with military precision. And then your eyes move lower. Wheel after wheel after wheel. 12 wheels. Not 6. Not 8. 12. The sight alone feels unreal. Because your brain keeps trying to count them again and again. Wait. Did I count that right? You count again. 1. 2. 3. Nope. Still 12. And suddenly you realize something terrifying. This isn't built to survive roads. It's built to ignore them. Sand dunes? Doesn't care. Mud? Doesn't care. Rocky mountains? Doesn't care. Snowstorms? Doesn't care. Because the Thunderbone wasn't designed around limitations. It was designed around possibility. Now under something this huge, you'd expect an equally ridiculous powertrain. And according to whispers surrounding this machine, that's exactly what it has. Massive displacement. Twin turbo power. Heavy-duty engineering that sounds more like industrial machinery than a passenger vehicle. The engine doesn't start. It wakes up. You don't hear it at first. You feel it. A deep vibration travels through your chest before the sound even reaches your ears. Then, boom, the entire machine comes alive. Low growls. Mechanical thunder. Raw force waiting to explode. Press the accelerator and this giant doesn't hesitate. That's the scary part. Vehicles this size usually move like buildings on wheels. Slow, heavy, lazy. But somehow the Thunderbone launches forward with shocking authority. Tons of metal suddenly become motion. The wheels dig into the ground. Dirt flies into the air. Massive tires claw for grip. And for a few seconds your brain completely disconnects from reality. Because something this huge shouldn't accelerate like that. But it does. And as speed rises, the impossible starts becoming normal. The landscape begins blurring. Wind starts rushing around the body. The engine roars louder. And suddenly you're not driving a vehicle anymore. You're commanding a force of nature. But what happens when you climb inside? That's where the story changes completely. Because outside, the Thunderbone feels like a war machine. Inside, it transforms. Open the doors and you're stepping into another universe. Soft leather stretches across enormous seats. Premium materials surround every surface. Ambient lighting glows around the cabin like a private luxury lounge. The contrast is almost shocking. Outside looks ready for apocalypse. Inside feels like first-class air travel. Large panoramic windows flood the cabin with light. Massive digital displays stretch across the dashboard. Every screen delivers information with futuristic precision.
Navigation.
Vehicle systems.
Terrain monitoring.
Camera views. Performance data. Everything lives right in front of you. And with a machine this massive, technology isn't optional. It's survival. Advanced cameras watch every angle around the vehicle. Sensors scan obstacles. Intelligent systems calculate terrain conditions before you even reach them. The Thunderbone almost feels alive. Almost like it's thinking. Almost like it knows what you're about to do before you do it. Then comes the driving experience. And this is where things become surreal. You expect chaos. You expect a rough ride. You expect to bounce around like you're sitting on construction equipment. Instead, silence, comfort, control. The suspension absorbs punishment like it doesn't even exist. Large rocks disappear beneath the wheels. Deep holes vanish. Uneven terrain becomes smooth. It's almost disturbing. Because outside you see destruction. Inside you feel peace. And then you realize why. 12 wheels aren't there just for looks. They're there for confidence. They're there so this machine can keep moving where others surrender. Because while normal vehicles search for roads, the Thunderbone creates them. And the special features don't stop there. Rumors suggest customized living spaces, entertainment systems, sleeping quarters, extreme storage capability, self-sufficient expedition technology. Imagine driving across continents without needing civilization. Imagine disappearing into mountains for weeks. Imagine standing under the stars in places no normal vehicle could ever reach. That's the dream this machine sells. Freedom. Pure freedom. Because deep down, people don't love giant vehicles because they're big. People love them because of what they represent.
No limits. No boundaries.
No permission needed. And maybe that's why the Toyota Thunderbone feels so mysterious. Because very few people will ever see one. Even fewer will ever touch one. And almost nobody will ever experience it. It lives in the shadows. Hidden away like some forgotten mechanical legend. A giant monster waiting for the world to discover it. Maybe that's what makes it special. Not horsepower. Not luxury. Not technology. Mystery. Because in a world full of cars that all look the same, full of predictable designs and safe ideas, the Thunderbone reminds us that somewhere out there, engineers are still dreaming like children. Dreaming without limits. Dreaming without rules. And sometimes, those dreams become monsters on wheels. The Toyota Thunderbone 12x12 isn't just a vehicle. It's proof that imagination can still shake the earth. Welcome back. Imagine hearing a sound so deep, so violent, so unreal, that the ground beneath your feet starts trembling before the machine even appears. You turn around expecting a convoy of military vehicles. But then you see it. 12 wheels. Massive steel. Towering presence. And a silhouette that looks less like a vehicle and more like something that escaped from a classified experiment. This is the 2026 Toyota Thunderbone 12x12. The most exclusive monster on wheels ever imagined. And trust me, what you're about to see only gets crazier. Because this isn't just another luxury motorhome. It isn't an SUV. It isn't a truck. The Thunderbone exists in its own category. Toyota didn't just build a vehicle here. They created an event. Something so absurdly massive that seeing it on the road feels like witnessing a dinosaur walking through modern traffic. The first thing that hits you is the size. Pictures don't prepare you. Videos don't prepare you. Even standing next to it doesn't prepare you. The Thunderbone rises like a steel giant. Aggressive LED light bars slash through the darkness like futuristic blades. The front fascia carries Toyota's bold identity but twists it into something far more intimidating. The grille is enormous. The body lines are sharp and muscular. Massive wheel arches stretch across all 12 wheels like armor protecting a beast. And those wheels. 12 of them. Not 6. Not 8. 12. You almost lose count staring at them. Each one wrapped in brutal off-road tires designed to dominate terrain that most vehicles wouldn't even dare approach. Sand, snow, mud, rock, it doesn't matter. The Thunderbone treats the planet like its personal playground. People don't simply look at it. They freeze. Phones come out instantly. Heads turn. Kids point. Drivers slow down. Because your brain struggles to process what you're seeing. Then comes the moment everything changes. The engine starts. Suddenly. Boom. A thunderous growl erupts from deep inside the machine. Not loud in an annoying way. Loud in a powerful way. The kind of sound that sends chills down your spine. Rumors suggest Toyota packed this monster with an outrageous hybrid twin-turbo V8 setup engineered to move mountains. Massive torque. Brutal horsepower. Endless pulling power. Think about this for a second. You're moving a machine the size of a small apartment, and somehow it launches forward like physics forgot its own rules. You expect something this large to feel slow, heavy, lazy, but then your foot touches the accelerator, and everything changes. The Thunderbone surges forward with unbelievable force. You feel the weight transfer. You hear turbo pressure building. 12 wheels grip the road like claws digging into concrete. 0 to 60? Not supercar territory. But honestly, that's not the point. The experience isn't about chasing speed records. It's about commanding power. Pure, unstoppable power. Imagine sitting behind the wheel knowing almost nothing around you feels bigger. You aren't driving through traffic. Traffic moves around you. But here's where things become completely insane. Step inside. Because the interior feels like entering a luxury penthouse from the future. The doors open slowly, revealing a world nobody expects. Soft premium leather covers nearly every surface. Ambient lighting flows across the cabin like liquid energy. Real wood finishes meet brushed aluminum details. Massive panoramic windows flood the space with light. This isn't a vehicle interior. It's a private lounge. A moving luxury suite. Individual captain seats recline almost completely flat. Heated functions. Cooling systems. Massage technology. Everything designed around comfort beyond imagination. And then your eyes move upward. The ceiling. Stars. Tiny LED lights recreate a night sky above your head, transforming every journey into an experience. But wait. Because Toyota didn't stop there. The technology inside this thing feels almost unbelievable. Massive digital displays stretch across the dashboard. Advanced AI systems monitor terrain, weather, navigation, and vehicle performance in real time. Voice controls respond instantly. Cameras surround the entire vehicle. Autonomous assistance systems help manage this giant machine with terrifying precision. Need off-road information? Boom. Displayed instantly. Need live terrain mapping? Done. Need satellite communication in remote environments? No problem. It's like driving a command center on wheels. And here's the craziest part. The Thunderbone isn't only about luxury. It's built for advantage. Deep under its gigantic body sits one of the most advanced suspension systems imaginable. Adaptive technology constantly adjusts ride height and wheel movement. You hit rough terrain. The Thunderbone barely notices. Massive rocks become small bumps. Mud turns into entertainment. Steep climbs feel effortless. You start realizing something strange. The vehicle almost feels alive. Like it's thinking ahead. Like it knows where you want to go before you even get there. Picture this. You're crossing an endless desert at sunset. Golden light stretches across the horizon. Dust rises behind 12 spinning wheels. Inside, absolute silence. Outside, absolute chaos. That's the magic. Power outside. Luxury inside. And exclusivity. That's where things become ridiculous. Because vehicles like this aren't mass-produced. They're legends. Machines built for a tiny group of people willing to own something nobody else has. Imagine pulling into a location and watching million-dollar supercars suddenly disappear into the background. Because no matter how exotic the Ferrari is, no matter how expensive the Lamborghini is, nothing steals attention like a 12-wheel giant rolling into view. Nothing. People don't ask, how fast is it? They ask, what is that? And honestly, that's the ultimate flex. The Thunderbone isn't trying to fit into existing categories. It destroys categories. It takes luxury from motorhomes, strength from military vehicles, technology from future concepts, adventure from off-road legends, and it fuses everything into one impossible creation. Some vehicles are built for transportation. Others are built for status. But once in a while, something appears that feels bigger than both. Something built to make people dream. Something designed to leave jaws on the floor. Something that reminds us why we fell in love with machines in the first place. The 2026 Toyota THUNDERBONE 12x12 isn't simply a monster on wheels. It's proof that imagination still has no limits. And if this giant ever appears in your rearview mirror, don't move aside because it's faster. Move aside because you're looking at a legend.